Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the masterful mover and shaker herself, Sandy Reevy.
Mastery.
Hi,
everybody.
It is episode 203, June 13th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we start off Monday, June 13th with Mercury, ingress, Gemini.
Home again, clickety-click.
Tuesday, June 14th, full moon in Sagittarius, square Neptune.
Yeah, confusion on how to get there.
Thursday, June 16th, sun trine Saturn.
Confident self.
And sun square Neptune.
Trust your intuition.
And Saturday, June 18th, Venus square Neptune.
Well, yeah, but before that, we get a Venus square Saturn.
Square Saturn.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's a flipping off.
And later that day, Venus sextile Neptune.
Yeah, and it becomes a mood change.
And we're just reminding you all of the Talisman of the Month. And on the horizon, we have a new webinar coming up. And in our house, Sandy is off again for more travels, this time to a retirement party. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story.
Hello, masterful mover and shaker.
Yeah, I'm digging having my suitcase out. Did you see the big travel bag that I literally probably took me a half hour to put up on all of the new stickers that we've been collecting over probably the last 4 years. That I'll collect a bunch, put it in a drawer, put it in a drawer. And I was doing some really heavy cleaning, and I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of these on the suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, when you pulled in the garage the next day, you're like,
Did you
put
noticed
all
it.
the stickers on the suitcase? And it was way up high on the shelf. I was surprised you saw it.
Yes.
All the good juju.
All the good travels that you've been really revving up, getting your engine started. So let's move into going direct to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for sending in your love, your appreciation, your comments. Keep them flowing. I did receive this one. This is from the archives that I'm pretty sure I didn't share on here. And this is from Heather. She says, I really enjoyed my reading with Sandy today. The 2 hours flew by. Her knowledgeable mind, personable attitude, and sweet nature shines while she explains the astrological chart with great detail. I could have easily listened to her speak for hours, days, or even weeks. Thanks so much for an awesome reading, Sandy. You rock.
Thank you. And actually, Heather was one of the ladies that came in this past weekend.
Oh, you got to talk about that in our house.
Okay, let's do that.
We didn't have that on the docket, but we'll add that.
Okay.
So let's move into the transits. We have a little bit lengthier week than the past week. We only had 2 transits last week, but this one is a lot of Saturn and Neptune. So let's start off the week with today, June 13th, Mercury ingress Gemini.
Yeah, this happens at 10:27 a.m. So this is in the morning. Home again, clickety-click. You know, Mercury, the planet that is the winged messenger who likes the communication style and writing letters and sending texts and calling and traveling, and especially short travels like bicycles or cars.
Mm-hmm.
And it returns here to his own home and own sign. So it returns to make sense of this last month. And, you know, we're able to put into order, even if there are a lot of subjects or a lot of things to file away, we can at least understand where they get filed, what area of the Rolodex, if anybody knows. Do you know what a Rolodex is?
I do.
Okay.
I used to play with them. I didn't ever have to use them, but I just play with them.
It's a time to prioritize, put things into order. It's easy to do now because there's a quickening. There's a way to like fast speed the mind to put things into order. Now, Mercury's still in shadow here, doesn't come out until later on that week, but still being in the Mercury home sign of Gemini is doing many things with your hands, right?
Okay.
So it might be, for me, it's, a reunion, a retirement party, it's all these RE things, even though it's not retrograde, but it's putting them together now, right? So things quicken and get busy.
Clickity-click.
Yep.
And so Tuesday, June 14th, full moon in Sagittarius. And there's a spin on this one because it's square Neptune.
It's square Neptune. This is at 6:52 a.m. So you'll be able to see this because we're at, sun coming up early and the moon will be exact opposite and the moon will be going down. So you'll look into the west to see this full moon. And 23 degrees Sagittarius. So, that means that the sun is in Gemini opposite. We just talked about the Gemini season.
Mm-hmm.
And opposing moon in the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So the thing is we've got a really close square to Neptune. And Neptune can create this confusion, this I don't know, this fog, this I don't know which way to go. So it can be confusing on how to get there. And so when, earlier on Monday is home again, clickety-click. And then the next day is like, what? Like, where do I live? Why am I here? What does this mean? I'll be looking at that as I'm heading to my hometown, Cincinnati, heading to visit my mom and the rest of my family. But take small steps. Like Gemini is small steps opposite toward the big picture. This is the route to take. So Mercury in Gemini knows the way. And so take deep breaths. You can do it. You can and do this. Get to the middle is really all the way that you need to go. Just get to the center. This is an opposition of the two luminaries, the two lights. So you don't have to go all the way where you feel like, oh, it's overburdened and I don't know how to get there. Just do what you can do, but move forward. You only have to go halfway. But it's really, any full moons are about how do I get to the next thing? Do I like this light? Do I like where I've grown? Do I like how I've gotten here? Where have I, especially in Sagittarius, where have I expanded? Do I like this new growth? And do I like this vision even? This belief that I have in myself. Start taking moves toward it. You don't have to finish it because there may be, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, there's, intuition here. So you don't have to really see to start having that sense of, I think I need to go this way.
Yeah.
Use that intuition.
Yes. And I think that with starting off the week with a Mercury ingress Gemini is going to be like a very hurried feeling. And so, we might need to put a cap on that to some degree so that we're not feeling like so lost in the ethers once Neptune and Saturn kind of jump in.
Yeah. And you can wake up early that morning and just be in the awe of it, right? It's a Tuesday. So it can be just like starting your day in, you know what? I know I have some things on my calendar. There's some things I have to accomplish today, and I'm going to do that with vigor. And I might not go beyond what I have to do. Let me have time to dream today. Let me have time to integrate the things that I'm feeling.
Okay.
Of the visions I have.
Well, so let's move into Thursday, June 16th, Sun trine Saturn.
Yep. Sun trine Saturn. This is at 2 a.m. And this is about confident self. Anytime this happens twice in a year period, the sun, is very, very solar, very vitality placement, right? It gives us our warmth and our shine. And it trines, easy, harmonizing aspect, like automatic. It's like in an alignment of like, all of a sudden a line appears between the two in a very harmonious way. It's kind of like when you play pool. It's like, oh, I can make that bank shot right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Where you can see the line goes right into where it belongs. And so that has this confident appeal where, and you can ask this, have you been here before? It feels like, like I like this leg up, this this staying in the game kind of attitude, because it'll seem like you've been here before, because you have. But you have time to make a plan, right? This is about Saturnian. Saturn's retrograde. And as a matter of fact, every time the sun trines Saturn, or a generational planet, that planet has just either turned retrograde or turned direct. So it hits it twice, once in the retrograde placement and just as it's getting ready to station and go the other way. So we already know now that Saturn's retrograde. So this gives us our clue, if you're paying attention to that. And so it's really trying to stay in the stability of what the long-term plan is. Like, have the confident self that you can get there. But you have time to do it because Saturn's retrograde.
And so that same day, June 16th, we also have the sun square Neptune.
So this is complete opposite of what I just said.
Right.
And it's happening in the same day within about 5 hours of one another. So it's not, neither one of them cancel each other out. It's both and.
Right.
Right. It's this and that. So how do we mix this together? So the sun is square Neptune. And this is about 8:40 in the morning. And we have to trust our intuition here. This is the time to take more of a creative approach. This is a time to be more self-caring, to have the enjoyment, even if you have to force yourself to find that relaxing time. Now, part of that literally could be having that confident self earlier in the day, staying in the game and going, and we talked about on Tuesday, just going halfway, having that push to getting halfway and then taking time to rest. Now, because as of Thursday, and if we have the full moon on Tuesday, the 14th, immediately the moon starts losing and waning light. And this is a time when we do get to be more passive
and enjoying
and more not pushing out our energies full plus, right? So this is like how do we say, a full minus? I like that, full minus, because it's not a day for reality check. Otherwise, it'll be disappointing because the sun squaring Neptune is like, I don't really feel like doing anything. But we also have sun trine Saturn, which is saying, hey, what's the plan? Let's stay on it.
Right.
But
about getting discipline too.
Yeah. And maybe you can combine both of those.
Right. And I think we need to do that naturally as human beings, because there's always these multiple complex forces around that we have to make sense of. And so here are two of them, very opposing, coming up on the same day. Mm-hmm. And it's just about finding that balance, because we need both. We need that, kind of like inquisitive, mysterious place, but we also need the discipline and reality checks at the same time.
Yeah. And this is really, what is the plan? Let's stay on it, but we don't have to work on it 100%. We can work on it plus minus.
Plus minus?
Or what was that term I said earlier?
The full minus.
Full minus.
Yeah.
Full on with a little bit of
reprieve.
A little bit of minus.
So let's move to Saturday, June 18th, Venus square Saturn.
So this is Saturday. Yep. And I call this flipping off.
I'm not going to do that.
Do you see what I'm doing? You do that sometimes.
Flipping your hair. Yeah, I do. The longer it gets, it's kind of like a thing to wrestle sometimes.
Yeah, but your hair and just like there's an attitude around that. I don't know. You should do that in the mirror at one time. It's like, you kind of like your hand goes, your head goes, like, yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, like,
All right, I'm getting my reality check here.
So flipping off your hair, that is, not anything else. Because this is a square. Venus is coming along. She's very strong in her own domicile, because they're both actually in their own domiciles. Saturn's in Aquarius. He also rules Aquarius, but he's retrograde. So she can take the lead here. Relationships need to take time to share their needs, share their wants, and to be listened to. You know, so how do you listen in to what a relationship is requiring or needing repair? Somehow listen intuitively, even if you have to, you know, listen through a wall. You know, listen in to what is actually being said and what is being portrayed, like perceive.
And then later that day, we also have Venus sextile Neptune. And so we're literally doing this dance between Saturn and Neptune. And I feel like I have something to say about that, but let's talk about this Venus sextile Neptune.
Yeah, so this is a nice one. Now, we know that Neptune is getting ready to retrograde at the end of the month, at end of June. So he's already slowing down. So again, here are two planets that in their own domiciles. So this is at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday. So if this is, you know, relaxed night, there's a mood change. She wants everything to be easy now. So go to a concert, share a bottle of wine. You can go see the moon rise at midnight. Make that a date. You know, maybe take a nap during the day here. Instead, you know, when Venus is square Saturn, maybe you lay yourself down, you know, you sleep on it, take a nap on the couch so that you can make a date starting at, you know, 9 o'clock at night, bringing a picnic and watching the moon rise. I think that would be a really, really beautiful Neptunian relaxation, mystical, magical, spiritual, creative, intuitive, you know, fantasy. So it's a Saturday night. You can do that.
Woohoo!
What did you have to say?
We get permission. Well, so recently I was watching this video of I guess he's like a coach of some sort, but Mark Morrison, and he was talking about this idea of like finding our purpose. And what he likes to, he's kind of vulgar when he talks about it. He's very like overly realistic majority of the time that he's talking. And
he's not the singer that did
same name but different.
What was that called?
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac. Yeah. Andrew's favorite song.
Right. So this guy was talking about how it's like one of his most frustrating questions that he gets asked because people are looking to find their purpose. And so what he wants to do is just kind of shift that and say that people need to create their purpose, and that really we can find purpose and meaning in anything if we give it that value. So here with like Sun and Saturn, Neptune and Venus, like here, Sun is like our purpose, like our vitality, like, you know, how we shine. Venus is our values. So, and like all of this is kind of accumulating into like making so much sense for me. I don't even know if that's translating over, but our Sun and our vitality and our values, you know, we really have to define those first. And then when we're creating our purpose, it's because, you know, we're disciplined in it, that we keep doing that even when it is difficult, because even if we do find our dream job or our dream relationship or whatever, we still need to work at it. We need to still find discipline and you know, going through the hard times, but also that Neptune that comes in, we really have to enjoy it. It can't always be this like must happen determination and kind of like wet blanket that Saturn can be. But it also needs to be this like mystical and fun and adventurous and curiosity provoking type of exploration. So that was just like really interesting that all of that. I just watched that video the other day on just driving in the car.
Oh, great.
That he does videos, but I was listening to it. Yeah. Sorry. And yeah, it was just really, really interesting how all of that kind of just made so much sense just now. So,
and it inspires me to, you know, I was just mentioning, well, that, you know, I've topped the scale for the first time in my life.
Topped the scale, meaning
I don't want to say. Anyway, I've gotten to a number on the scale that I've never been to in my life.
Oh.
So it does bring me to this realization again, that I can use this coming week for, having my vision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even open my closet doors anymore because there's nothing in there that I can wear. Right. It's just as I rotate it from the washer dryer back to the, back to the body. But to have the vision of, I can do this. I want to do this. I want to be healthy. I want to look like this. I want to feel like this, and all it takes is a little Saturnian effort to say, well, then just do it. Right. Like no one is stopping you. Right. And it's this internal feeling of, do I want the Neptune vision, which can take away some of the goal settings. But I'm using Saturn and Neptune. So this is a good week for me to, and I don't know if there's I'm sure there's other people out there that want to that have a goal, Saturn, that can vision it and know that, hey, it may not be easy, but we're willing to see how it goes and have that accomplishment and reward when Sun trines Saturn again, in about 4 or 5 months. In that trine when Saturn is coming back, and Saturn's my time lord,
and that's a good time frame.
Yeah, I'm but and then I'm heading to Cincinnati this week, which I'll talk about. I'm heading there today, as a matter of fact, which is all comfort food. It's all my baby, not baby food, but
like being at home,
my comfort food.
Right.
Of find myself in the pantry.
Right.
Like, oh, hi pantry. What am I doing in here? Oh, there's this and that and this and that,
Yeah.
So I've got to have my vision attached to my brain
and discipline
with my core self saying, is that what I want? Does that link up to my vision?
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to breeze through talisman times because you're free to roam about the country. And so we don't have any finished or upcoming talismans. However, we do have the talisman of the month, which is to nurture children. That is at a special price, $222. And if you click the link below, you'll be able to see it. So on the horizon, we have just finished up our June astrology forecast, which is ready and waiting for you on the website. And also our June cheat sheet. And this is a wonderful PDF for you to print out, have next to your desk, learning a little bit more about all of these transits that we discuss. And July 13th is actually going to be our first webinar that we will be having in a while. And this is USA's Pluto return part 2. And if we know of anything that has been really going on in the US's chart, Sandy and Susan laid that out really beautifully in the part 1 of
which was the first
Pluto
aspect
return.
In February. It was the first. Now we're coming up. Pluto's retrograde, and Pluto's making its second pass to the United States Pluto. So we're going to have part 2 to see if there are temporary fixes been put in place by the government, by individuals, by the leaders, by people in charge. And then we'll have a follow up toward the end of the year, part 3.
All right.
So we're just collecting
This
information
is big
and
news.
data as we go along to share with everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Really interesting. So if you want to sign up, that link is in the description. And also I'll put in there the part 1 link as well. We're going to breeze over our retreat signups. This is one of the last weeks for the early bird prices. So if you are interested, make sure to get your deposit in now.
And we're talking about the Mexico January 2023.
Yes. And so let's move into our house then.
Let's go. We're here.
So you are off again for more travels. And this time, because we just talked about that we were going to talk about your past weekend where you had out-of-town guests in town.
I did, but before we even get there, this is going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3 of our house.
Okay.
Because there's 3 separate topics.
Okay.
And the first topic is astrologically related. Today we're recording this couple days in advance of this showing up on Monday the 13th. And I just wanted to mention this, that Susan Goodell and I, when we did our June forecast, she mentioned, and she follows mundane astrology probably more than I do. The first pass that we had of Mercury, the planet of the news, the planet of messages, in trine to Pluto, important information maybe coming from leadership roles or something that's important for the country or the world. That may be Plutarian, hidden, secretive, unknown,
but extremely powerful.
Needing this information. And the first pass we had was April 28th when Mercury trined Pluto. And we got the information that day that the January 6th committee is holding a public hearing that is going to be publicly televised on June 9th. So hold that thought to you for a second. Then on the second pass, which was May 25th, with Mercury retrograde trine Pluto, we got the New York Times had a article about our former President Trump approved the chant that he unveiled, that he approved the chant, hang Mike Pence. So again, here's some more information, data coming out about this insurrection that we had January 6th. And then, of course, the final pass of this was the 10th, on Friday the 10th, which was, today, but last week, if you're listening, because you're listening, that we had the hearings the night before. So everybody now is talking about what everybody was watching last night. And it was a 4-hour event where we're seeing new audio, hearing new audio, seeing new video, getting a timeline of what was a very peaceful Capitol in the morning. And by the end of the night, it had just been attacked.
Right.
And to watch that and hearing about the testimonies and important people that were involved on the law side and the non-law side is quite, and this will be going on, and they'll have their final say in October.
And will you and Susan be talking about that in the webinar, the Pluto return? Do you think that that's going to be a part of the webinar?
Certainly it will be part, because Pluto's involved. So this Mercury was then making this aspect to the United States natal Pluto. And so, is this to look at the news of, everybody's watching this worldwide. I was just talking to a friend last night, and she lives in another part of the world. And she's like, we are all watching. We're all watching the United States. Of course, everybody does. The other quick thing I wanted to mention that I woke up to this morning, and again, this is that we're recording. I woke up and read my skimmed, and President Biden has removed the needing a negative COVID test requirement to, if you're coming in from an international flight back into the United States, you do not need a COVID test. So that is off. We don't need to do that anymore.
Wow.
So that's a big deal. And again, I think that's that Mercury trine Pluto. This is the messaging from a high-powered placement about disease, about we don't need to be testing for that anymore. So I wish that was happening in Greece when I was coming back from Greece, because it's a thing. You got to go show a negative, get a piece of paper, do all that. And so nobody has to do
it's safe. It's safer that way, I think, for everyone. But I understand that it can be feeling like a burden, but it's not. It's not.
Yeah. So those are the two things I wanted to bring up that I can link to some astrological happenings in the sky.
Well, then we also wanted to talk about your out-of-towners.
So the out-of-towners, which are the Kasatara group. And
Mexico retreat.
Yeah,
group.
the Mexico retreat that we had in January of 2022 was this beautiful, beautiful accumulation. Some people knew each other that had signed up and attended. And the camaraderie and love and connection. This was during the Venus retrograde, and I taught Venus retrograde, and we were doing Venus star point, and we actually saw it in action. And who had a Venus twin star? Who is your helping hand Venus? Who is your karmic leg Venus? We did astro drama around that. Anyway, my point is everybody's so in love that the group's not everybody could make it, but most of them, like 8, came in from out of town, stayed at the people that did live in Chicago. I had some
hub.
here. Yeah. And then we each had something to do on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There was something gathering. So it really was a good reunion.
Yeah.
And they're all signed up to do the Casa Tara retreat again next year, which this was like the halfway point, kind of at the halfway point. We were just all connecting again and loving and sharing stories and information that we've gathered.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
in the development that has occurred, in these last 5-6 months.
Yeah. And showing support and being there for one another and really enjoying the time.
Oh my God, we had a ball. We laughed. We stayed up late. We started parties at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
exhausting,
we
but
were
fun.
going all over. Yeah. Yeah.
And then now you're off again for more travels.
Yeah, this is a reunion.
So now I have to live vicariously through you.
You do. The tide has turned. I'm heading to Cincinnati, my hometown. My sister's in town from Houston, and she's retired from her teaching grade school. And we're having a little retirement party for her at my brother's lake farm. And that's going to be, fun. My other brother's coming in town, so it'll be the 4 siblings all together again, and nieces and nephews and sister-in-laws. That will be, and I'll end up staying for 10 days.
Yeah,
because my mom, who's 90 and a half, is having a girlfriend garden party.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and Mom Mimi's, yard.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, from the upper deck to the lower deck to the courtyard garden.
She just got a railing put in down the really beautiful brick staircase
that my dad built.
Mm-hmm.
My dad built all of this. He built the whole house and the fire pit in the back and the gazebo on the side and the little bridge that went over the pond that we used to catch tadpoles. Her trellises.
Mm-hmm.
She does all of this by herself. She doesn't cut the grass anymore. It's a big yard. But she's decided she's got all these new girlfriends, since Dad passed. She's really out there in the world doing, she's always been doing bridge and card game, card clubs.
Right.
But now
Very
they're doing Saturday dinners and going out and checking out new restaurants and when we had
that sounds like me in my 20s.
And when we had the birthday party, the 90th birthday party for Mom, we invited all of her new girlfriends, and they're all like, some of them are my age.
They're funny.
They're in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. They had no idea that their girlfriend, my mom, is 90.
Right.
Because she acts like she's 70.
Totally.
So she's really, she's got the menu figured out. She's got the plates figured out. She's got the napkins. She wants this glass for that and this glass for that.
Oh, that'll be perfect.
And where are they going to sit? And, she had to get that railing put down that she's been wanting for years because she wants them to walk down. There was no railing and they're getting older and, so
yeah,
I've decided to stay.
Staircases.
She made a comment on the phone. Lori's coming in town. So she's like, oh, she wants Lori there. But then she's like, I might have to hire somebody that's taking people's plates, making sure that if they're going down the stairway.
Why hire them when you birthed them?
And I got on the phone the next day and I said, Mom, I got to thinking about that. You're not going to hire anybody. I'm coming down.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, that would be great. So of course I'm like, they drink, right? So I've never heard my mom said the word Manhattan or highballs or spritzers. I've never
Tom
heard her.
Collins.
I've never heard her say those words because my dad and I are the only, alcohol drinkers in the family. And now that he left, it looks like I either should dry up or I bring my own
BYO.
Yeah. And so I said, Mom, I'll bring some Greek liqueurs that I brought. And she's like, they would love that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's going to be like explorative and new and exciting.
Yeah.
So very cool.
I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'll be down for 10 days.
Well, safe travels. And I think that's about a wrap on our episode today. So I want to thank you all for listening in. It is such a pleasure to be here broadcasting out to you. Remember to email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. If you have any love, any support, any comments, they are so welcomed and they're even asked for. And don't forget to head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and give us one of those 5-star reviews. So I think that is all for today. Thank you everybody for tuning in and we will check you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story of you. The story of you, the story.